Hello and welcome to the mains PYQ discussion by NEVAS. This is a question from the 2022 mains and it's about the medieval Indian temple sculptures. Like UPSC usually asks about art and culture, this question has two elements. One is the factual element and second is the analytical element. Look at the question. How will you explain the medieval Indian temple sculptures that represent the social life of those days? So first you should have knowledge about medieval Indian temple sculptures. That's the factual side of it. Second, you should be able to extract clues about social life of the time from that. That's the analytical side. So we are having a single part body where we have 7 points. In these 7 points, we have seven factual sides to it. Whatever is marked in red here are value additions for that, and we have presented it in an analytical way where every fact is giving us an information about a social life. So since the question is about the embedded nature of sculptures, we'll start the question with that particular keyword. We'll say that sculptures are embedded history. They are a historical source from which we can have information about the social life of its times. Then we can also give one more value addition there, because medieval India is a time when different styles like the Nagara, Dravida or the Vesara style peaked or reached its zenith. So these are different temple architectural styles. Nagara was based in northern part of India, Dravida was based in southern part of India, and Vesara was a mixture of both Nagara and Dravida. And every style has several dynasties associated with it as well. So we'll give these three keywords plus the term embedded history in the introduction. And we'll go to the body part. The first and foremost point, it's about the hierarchical nature of the society. For example, take the sculptures in Brihadeshwara temple. Brihadeshwara temple is located in Tanjavur. Take the temple, take the sculptures there. You can see a wide variety of people. Kings with royal crowns, singers, artisans, common man as well. So it shows that the society was layered. The stratification of the society was visible. So that was the social life of that times. So that's the first hint. Second is about the occupational structure. What kind of jobs did people do? That would also be reflected in these temples. For example, we can have the look at the sculptures in Konark temple in Odisha, the Sun temple in Konark. The sculptures give insights about occupational structure. Or you just take the case of sculptures as a whole. In order to have a sculpture tradition, you need a dedicated artisan class. And this dedicated artisan class is a product of patronage and caste system. So that hint can also be drawn from these sculptures. Third, as a reflection of dynastic polities. I've already told you different dynasties are associated with different styles. Let's take the case of Hoysaleshwara temple in Halabit. It was constructed by the Hoysalas. So these Hoysalas were known for a mixture of styles, where they will mix elements from Nagara style and Dravida style. So the typical feature of a sculpture will tell us the flavor of the dynasty, the taste of the patron. So that's yet another feature of social life. The next point is philosophy. Sculptures tell us the story of philosophy, its rise and fall. Take the case of Elephanta's cave sculptures. In this cave, you can see Hindu philosophy, Buddhist philosophy, and Jainist philosophy. So the initial paintings in from around 5th century, 6th century time, you will see Buddhist paintings. And in the later periods, you can see Buddhist paintings declining and Hindu sculptures emerging. What does it show? It shows the period in which one philosophy is losing its prominence and one philosophy is gaining in prominence. So the rise and fall of philosophies or philosophy as a whole is reflected in these sculptures. Next point is about the reflection of woman and sexuality. A classical example of this is Khajuraho temple in Madhya Pradesh. The way women were viewed and the views the society had about sexuality at that point in time is reflected in these sculptures. The second last point is with respect to traditions of its times. A typical example of it is Bhakti tradition. So medieval period is known for Bhakti tradition. Bhakti tradition started from South India around 7th, 8th century AD in the form of Nayanars and Alvars. Later it flourished to all parts of India in different form of sects. And these examples of this tradition can be seen in the form of Bhakti iconography. For example, in Virupaksha temple, you have this. Even in Brihadeshwara temple, you have. There are sculptures of Bhakti saints like Andal, Nammalwar. So these sculptures are there in these temples. So it shows about, it reflects or gives evidence about the Bhakti tradition, the saints, and their social life. The last point is the take on nature and animals. So Indian society or Indian religion as a whole is very close to nature. So lion motifs or bull motifs. Take the case of the Nandi sculpture in Brihadeshwara temple. It is the largest sculpture, monolithic sculpture in India. And Nandi is the vehicle of Lord Shiva. So the importance of animals in tradition and the reverence that people gave to these symbols can also be reflected from these sculptures. So 7 key takeaways from 7 key facts. That is the answer. That's the takeaway for you. And we'll conclude this by talking about temple, because all these are about temple sculptures. So we'll give a general statement about temple as a conclusion. Temple was not just a place of worship. It was also a place where wealth was stored. That is why when a foreign king attacks a new territory, temples will be the first structure to be demolished because wealth is kept inside. If you look at the Padmanabha temple in Trivandrum, Kerala, it is one of the wealthiest temples in the India right now. Because of the large amount of treasure that is kept within, it is still kept. So temples are centers of financial centers as well as urban centers. They are also cultural centers. Because of all these factors, temples, sculptures reflect social life to a large extent. So that's the answer. Thank you for listening.